DayZ is my favorite game of all time, but right now the gameplay of it just fucking sucks. Now, I'm not bashing DayZ, I understand every game has their flaws. My problem with the game is the incentive of gameplay. Now, we're going to highlight the word incentive and orbit around it during this video. Currently, DayZ's gameplay is basically wandering around the map, looting, and maybe getting into an altercation. Maybe. The idea is to survive at all costs, and I get that, but what is the incentive as a player? Most of the time, we're all delivering loot to other players because some guy saw us first, and then boom, we're knocked out for 1 minute, and then we're back to the coast. Other times, we're sending people back to the coast. The progression in DayZ is insufferable. It's not streamlined. 95% of the time, it's a walking simulator, and your run depends on a random number generator of loot and their spawns. If I want to run a VSS with mags and armor-piercing rounds, for example, I have to scour the map with walking and looting. That can take hours. Now, I already know I'm going to get some people in the comments about how I'm just bashing the game or how I suck and I don't know what I'm talking about, to which I'll say, I have over 2,000 hours on DayZ across a few accounts, and I've done it all on DayZ. I played it every possible way, and again, it's my favorite game of all time. DayZ is a survival game. Now, to compare it to other survival games, DayZ lacks in one major area, which is, in my opinion, the ultimate incentive for any player, and that's base building. In a game like Rust, for example, your whole playthrough is structured on a base, and you and your base progress steadily as you play. Same goes for Ark, and ultimately when you die, you spawn back in your base provided you have beds or bags down, and kit up and you're back in the action. You loot as you play, and then you store it in your base. DayZ does not have that. DayZ's base building is terrible. In fact, it's the worst I've ever seen. To base build in DayZ, you need an axe to cut trees, a saw to make planks, a fence kit to place your gate, a shovel to dig it in, a hammer and nails to attach the planks, metal wire and pliers to make a gate, and finally a code lock to lock it. Every time you want to leave or enter your base, you need to input your code manually on the lock. Most players watching this aren't on console and play modded. Now again, I know the comment section is gonna say just get a PC and stop whining. I played console my entire life and I love it. I shouldn't have to switch sides. Plus, a huge chunk of players are playing on console. After talking to a lot of players from the DayZ community on console, they agree. What games like Rust and Ark do so well is that they give their player base that warm, cozy feeling of storage, beds, decorations that you can share with your team or simply have the satisfaction of doing it solo. And that's my problem with DayZ. What is the incentive to play it? Is it just looting over and over, then when you die, you just lose it all? Is it looting to make a stash somewhere in the woods, so when you die, you can gear up there again? On that note, finding nails, saws, axes are purely random based off the game's loot engine, which means it can take hours of traveling and looting to acquire those things. Is it base building? Then every time you want to enter or leave it, you find yourself spending minutes to enter the codes manually? I love DayZ so much, I built a channel around it and its gameplay. This is how I'm feeling, this is how many other players are feeling. For DayZ to be enjoyable for majority players who have hundreds of hours or even thousands of hours, the progression needs to be streamlined. An example would be a safe zone somewhere on the map like Green Mountain, where you're able to sell the loot you acquired going there to buy a gun and ammo for it, or buying base building items. Maybe buying a car. Base building should be simplified with different types of structures, different types of doors, different types of gates for compounds, craftable containers with more storage and gun racks. Code locks should be reworked so it's more efficient for us players, like how it is on Rust, for example. Entering or leaving our bases should be fast. Bases should have craftable workbenches. Beds should be crafted in bases and given a cooldown timer of something like maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour. Another way for this to be solved is for Sony to finally allow mods on PS5. The one time they got hacked was over a decade ago. Let's move on. Sony, you're worth billions. I'm sure y'all can figure out a proper security system for mods on games. That concludes my thoughts on DayZ and her current gameplay. I think DayZ has the potential to be the best survival game on the market, provided the gameplay is streamlined. I've been trying for almost 100 days now, over 3 months, of bugging DayZ devs on Twitter, trying to get their attention, and I'm not gonna stop until I see either Sony allow mods for consoles, or I hear that the devs are coming out with a base building update. Here's a proof. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Consider liking and subscribing for more content. Not like this one, of course. This is just a little rant. But thanks again so much for watching. Cheers and have a great day.